it shapes the meaning of my life when I'm responsible for my family or like other people. More than 66 members of my extended family went missing, and close friends and relatives. And my uncle, who was killed in front of my eyes, I saw him like. So when I look at it right now, I cry. I would be walking in the street and just like going to buy a cigarette or something, and just walking, the house before me would be targeted. It was my normal. But right now, as my time passes in Ireland, and it's not me who looking back at my history, but it's just my history coming back to catch me.
Welcome to the Masking Tapes. I'm your host, Carolina Hidalgo-McCabe. As I'm heading to law school and life is changing, I'm really excited to bring this episode to kind of close out this chapter for now of the Masking Tapes, and to bring back one of my favorite guests, Abdallah Al-Jazar, who was on the Masking Tapes in June of last year, of 2025. And we had a really meaningful conversation that time because, Abdallah, you were in Gaza at that point, and you were calling from your tent. You were calling with the sound of drones, and I think I recorded it on WhatsApp.
Speaking right now from my tent, Khanis and Mawasi, sweating at insects right now, drones above my head in the sky. But it's good I speak about manhood during this genocide. Like they say, men are protectors, providers, but how do you protect against hunger? How do you protect against fear?
And now we're in a very different space. So, Abdallah, can you first tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into how things have changed and your reflections from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for this beautiful introduction, Carolina. I'm Abdallah. It's me for the second time here. First time when I spoke with you, Carolina, I remember maybe I didn't tell you about that, but the day we spoke from the tent was really overwhelming. It was really, like a day under the sun, and trying to make, I was talking with the neighbors a few minutes before the episode, just asking them not to make noise, because there's no privacy in the tent. And imagine you live your life for more than 2 years in a tent, no privacy at all. So I just knocked on their doors, 10 doors, and I was like, I'm speaking to my friend Carolina right now. So please guys, mind your tongue. But
mind your tongue.
Yeah, that's what I said, to be honest. But yeah, I remember before that I was carrying water, back and forth to the tent. So this is something usually you're gonna do. But sometimes you feel detached from reality, as I am right now. When I look back at the conversation we had last year, hopefully this is we would have a serious ceasefire soon, as I'm reading the news.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I know. To think about how much things have changed and how much your life has changed in the past year. So, Abdallah, you were living in Gaza. You were born and raised in Gaza, and you were accepted in the spring of last year to study at Maynooth University in Ireland. And at the time when we were recording, you'd found out that you were potentially going to go to Ireland, but it was always touch and go of whether you were going to be able to actually leave Gaza to Ireland. Can you tell us a little bit about that process and how you got out of Gaza?
So you actually reminded me to start the story not from the day I was evacuated, but from the first ceasefire agreement we had after a long time of genocide and tents. That day, we were allowed to go back to Rafah, my original city of birth. After leaving it in May 2024. Mm-hmm. So and January 2025. So when we went back to Rafah, even though the reason for me and my dad and my cousin, we went back there was to see if we could find my brother Noor, the story of Noor, just to see if if he found shelter in our house or not.
Abdallah is the oldest of 8 siblings. The next oldest is Noor. Abdullah's younger brother, who was a police officer in Gaza before the genocide. When the Israeli army invaded Rafah, which is Abdullah's home city, in May of 2024, Abdullah's entire family was forced to evacuate north. Noor stayed behind, saying he would collect the last of the family's belongings and meet them up north. To this day, Abdullah's family has not heard from or seen Noor. It's been over 820 days.
But like during the time going back to Rafah, just navigating the streets and this stuff, the city was drastically changed. I would say, like, as I saw it in my eyes, like 50% of Rafah was destroyed. The day of my evacuation and in August 2025, all the scholars with Irish scholarships were together in the middle area of Gaza. And there we dragged ourselves into a bus, and the bus was coordinating with the Israeli side, and we had to cross Rafah city to Kerem Shalom exit. That time on the bus, I swear to God, like, I had to see Rafah all once again after about 6-7 months. I swear to God, nothing was standing on. All the buildings were destroyed. So it feels like, this is how my evacuation started, with seeing my original city being erased. Like, up to now, I'm saying that to you, but I don't know what that means to me. My city is erased, and I have to start from scratch, as I'm doing right now in Ireland. Not only me, and everyone, even in Gaza.
Abdullah's not exaggerating. As of October 2025, the United Nations Satellite Center reports that 82% of Abdullah's home city of Rafah has been destroyed. This is what they call a domicide, the mass destruction of housing and civilian infrastructure. During the January 2025 ceasefire, Abdallah had returned to Rafah to go see what remained in the rubble of his home. At that point, he said about 50% of Rafah had been destroyed. This time, in August 2025, as he was passing through his city for one final time, his entire city seemed to be reduced to rubble. When you think of your home city of Rafah, do you think of it in times before the genocide, or when you picture it in your mind, or do you picture it the way you last saw it?
I picture it with the way it is in my imagination. It's Rafah, the city before October 7, like a dream, and it was like, when I graduated my undergrad in 2021, and I started working since then in Gaza City. And every time I would come back from Gaza City to Rafah, I would feel something, like something I can't describe, but it's like a sense of home, like when you just see the view from Rafah while coming from Khan Yunis on the main way, on the highway, you just see Rafah and the view, you just feel like, oh man, I'm back home. I always say that, like, it's not about the place only, but it's more likely to be about the people. And Rafah, just I never thought even actually of leaving Gaza before October 7, or of renting a place or buying a place outside Rafah. It's just because all my relatives, my friends, it's a place where I grew up. So I know everyone in Rafah. So I would shake hands if I just go outside my house and start just strolling through, and then I would meet at least 10 people I know. And imagine, you just come across people you love, and your uncles, your relatives, your cousins, your neighbors, a friend of a friend. So this is Rafah to me, and that's why I feel a stranger here in Ireland, because I don't shake hands, I don't say hi while walking. I need this sense of saluting, just networking and socializing.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day, if I stay here for 10 years, I would feel like I'm home. But Rafah has Rafah, as far as I'm concerned, maybe.
That's beautiful that it stayed in your mind as the Rafa of before the genocide, of that family, of being so close to the people you love. I asked you this question last summer, what's one of the hardest things about being a man? What is one of the hardest things about being a man now, Abdullah, outside of Gaza?
I think I have been asked this question like last time we spoke, but maybe because like we getting more old, I don't know, we have a different version of thoughts. I feel like I have two different versions of myself. Okay, even though like my Irish version of myself is English speaking, I'm starting it from scratch, you know. But I also like have another different version of myself, which is still in Gaza. Like at the time we are speaking right now, my brother Ali is doing a minor surgery in the hospital, and I'm following up on that, you know, from A to Z. So it's not like I'm detached from them. Physically, I'm detached, but I have to be aware, you know, like every single thing happening right now on the ground, in the tent, in the camp, family norms, family relationships, you know. The hardest thing to me, maybe like when you are in diaspora, it feels like it's all about your performance. You have to watch yourself, how you are acting. Not only because you're gonna be judged, but it's because you just want the best, you know, for your family back in Gaza. And you just circulate it, like you're just limited. You don't have that much resources, you know.
So you have like one foot back in the tent in Gaza where you're thinking about your family, and then you're also trying to perform in the diaspora at the same time. Is that what
And yeah, absolutely. And that's why I don't have feelings
you don't have
in
feelings?
Ireland. Yeah, I don't have feelings in Ireland because
What does
everything
that
should
mean?
be. It feels like I'm a robot. Like I need to practice speaking English outside, and you know, like I'm 27 right now. I'm turning 27 this August. So if I go out and do something like, so I'm afraid to be judged because I don't have that wide of opportunities to navigate the Irish life. So every time I'm watching myself, I have never been relaxed. That's why sometimes I feel overwhelmed. I would call like this Irish journey the past year since I started my school at my university, my master's. It feels like overwhelming year. Like I don't know. Like I was in a tent carrying water back and forth to the tent, and then I found myself in a desk here trying to do assignment on the Irishness. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like
And
whiplash.
at the same time, there's lots of stuff to deal with. People, a bureaucracy, lots of stuff. And if you are misjudged, then you lose an opportunity.
Yeah.
I need everything. I'm starting myself for once again, you know, like I don't need to lose time, effort.
Yeah. So in Gaza, you were the oldest sibling in your family, responsible for getting that water, for also doing projects in your community to build bread ovens and toilets and all these other and solar panels. You had so much responsibility to care for the people around you, and survive at the same time. And then you get to Ireland in or late August, early September of last year, and you have to start from scratch of how do you, this is your first time outside of Gaza, and you also have green grass around you and food and all, like, what was that journey of, you know, you have these resources around you, but you're also very new to a very different culture and society and accent. What was that journey like?
You remind me of the first time I came here, like I met a few folks and my accommodation, and I started like try to chat with them, but their accent, I didn't get it, and they didn't get my accent. Maybe I was like still not practicing English for the whole day, or maybe my accent is thick. I don't know if your audience will judge, but uh, but like we were communicating, and every time we'd be like So then I started judging my English, you know. So it's detachment, like trying to be to you know, like to be the Irish Abdallah, English speaking Abdallah, and trying to make sure like my family is doing okay. I don't see them, so I was just thinking about thinking about them from the mind, like numbers and statistics. You know, okay, we have like last time I was in West Cork and like having a weekend with my friends, and then I read the news and there was a bombing in my camp. So then I tried to call my family, and no one responded. So I was really afraid. Then when they answered the phone after 2 hours, like of anxiety and and fear, they told me we are okay. I said like how many meters is the bomb away from him? And they said like it's okay. It was like 50 meters away. I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious?
Wow.
They said, yeah, don't worry, it's 50 meters away from us. So then the fear, inside my heart started growing up as I'm looking at everything, or I'm starting to realize everything in Gaza the way they are actually are. So when I have a call with my family, with my brother, let's say, and he says, who's doing the surgery right now, and he says, I'm fed up with life. Death is easier than surviving a day in genocide. When he says that, I know he means it. Like it's really death is easier than surviving a day in genocide. It's not like metaphor,
Yeah.
to describe something that's really hard. It is the way it is. So I don't have any words to my relatives in Gaza and my family. Whenever like we have a chat, we have a call or something, I just listen, or start to satisfy their needs out of the call,
Yeah.
But I don't judge.
So
I don't ask a question.
how do you go back? Like, so in this situation, you were in West Cork with your friends, and then you're also worried about your family. Like, how do you exist in that liminal space, and how do you navigate that?
I simply told my Irish friends, like I was in company with 3 of my Irish friends. I told them, okay, I was walking, I think we were doing walking and this stuff. I told them, just don't talk with me right now. I'm somewhere else. And I wouldn't tell them about it, until like I hear from my family. So I wouldn't like let someone just overwhelm me again and again, more and more. Say, how's your family doing? No, just leave me alone. Don't talk with me right now. See you in 2 hours. I'm with you physically, but see you in 2 hours.
But you're somewhere else mentally. You're
Yeah,
you're
like
not there.
thinking something else. Yeah, like let me just mention this story. Like I'm seeking asylum the day after tomorrow, and this decision is not based on my interests. Any other people like coming from war zones or whatever, countries. This decision is just based on what my family might need in a year or so. So if I'm asylum seeker right now in Ireland, I would be able to, if my family, let's say they have a way outside Gaza, I would be able in a year or so to pick them up here in Ireland. If I seek asylum, if I do the application, I'm not sure if they're gonna approve it or not. And this is a risk actually. Like if they don't approve it, I don't know what's my visa status would be. So while I'm trying to think about it, I don't think about myself or what I really need,
Yeah.
I think what's the best in my life, what's the best path in my life I can pursue. Not for myself, but for my family. I don't know, maybe it's something like I grew up with, to have a sense of responsibility against my family. Or this is, I don't know, like I have no other option. Like this, I have to do that.
And you've been a lifeline for them from outside, continuing to be of that support from afar.
And this is like, this is what keeps me going, or like what pushes me hard to stay, very resilient and resolute.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And so you have 4 younger brothers, Noor, Ali, Muhammad, and Adam. What do you hope for the future of Gaza's young men?
Right now, like if I think about one of my little sisters who experienced the COVID-19 before, and she was 6 years old, and she couldn't go to schools, for about like 2 years in Gaza, and this affected her personality as like a little girl. And even then, I was working really hard with her before the genocide started, against like teaching her and training her on even how to pronounce words correctly. And now the genocide came, and it's like another 2 years or 3 years without a school. So there's a number of 5 years gap in her life.
Wow.
So I'm just hoping that the new generation would pay a little, more attention to education.
Yeah.
Because this is by purpose, like there's a whole generation affected. Like I'm not sure in 20 years time how would this Gazan community would look like. And even those people who would, I'm afraid they would judge us, the older generation. If we escaped the genocide, or like escaping Gaza, or leaving them behind, or I just want them to feel like we did the best we can. For me, like I did the best. I'm still doing the best, and I promise to keep doing the best. But this is our fate, Israel, Hamas, Gaza, Palestine, Middle East, diaspora. We never chose anything, but we are trying.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you're an amazing example of that commitment to education. And I think a lot of people don't know that Gaza had one of the highest literacy rates in the Middle East and North Africa before the genocide began. And the people of Gaza are incredibly educated and committed to education. And I think that's what makes the destruction of every single university in Gaza even more cruel, if it can be even more cruel, is the fact that education is so central to what it means to be someone from Gaza too.
It's also because like before October 7, we'd also value education because we have no other path, in life, except exploring the academic life. And, because Gaza is a prison and it's really a small country. The only possible way to survive is through education.
You've now been in Ireland for almost a year now, and we got to meet in person in November of last year and got to cook meals together. And you have a wonderful community of other students who are from Gaza who are also studying in Ireland. What do you wish more people knew about Gaza, or people from Gaza that you think that the Irish people may have gotten to experience of the people of Gaza, because you all are physically there and tremendous examples?
So I don't know the language of entertainment. I wish like everyone around the whole world would just know we don't escape you guys, but we love you. And Irish hospitality, let's say, as an example of which is really magnificent. But it's like we started from scratch at the age of 27, let's say. And we don't have like much time to waste somewhere else. We just want to maintain the maximum of our time. When we are settled in, we have the driver license, we have the proper documents, and we have a place to rent. Like lots of the people right now, the students right now in Ireland are seeking accommodation. They don't find it. So, I mean, like, how come, like, if I'm navigating such a problem and you asking me just to come by the sea and have fun, That's nonsense.
So you have to dedicate yourself to the logistics and the work and all that stuff rather than the enjoyment of life, the language of entertainment, you're saying.
And this drives me back to your question, which was like, I don't have feelings, I'm not myself. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's
When do you feel like you do have feelings? Like, when do you feel like yourself these days? Like, are there specific places or moments that you do?
Actually, I never felt myself in Ireland, but maybe like when I'm surrounded by people who needs nothing from me, who would just, like, I have no idea, actually. This is a hard question.
Yeah. I
But
remember when I went to visit you, we went ice skating, and I remember that it was a it was
yeah, that's,
it was quite the experience because it was your first time ice skating, and you were like,
I
"I've
went there
just
three
survived
times
a
after that.
genocide. Are you trying to kill me or something?" Like you were like, this is so rough," and you were so resilient. Like you were like it was hard, and you were like putting in a sweat, and you were like, we're just gonna keep going. Like I'm gonna get better at this. I'm gonna get better at this, and like I think that was one moment where I was like, wow, like he is committed to doing hard things and also bringing joy to the hard things, which was
Maybe
really
that's we were raised up against, like we in Gaza, like we just doing hard things.
mm-hmm,
Like right now, if you open the tap of the water, you're
mm-hmm,
gonna find water flowing.
mm-hmm,
But in Gaza, even for the genocide, you have to bomb the water and just push it onto the rooftop. And this process
mm-hmm,
would take like around 3 hours daily from you if you live in a big house, like if you lived in a big house like mine. So I would do that with one of my uncles. I like his
mm-hmm.
company, but it would be just 3 hours of pulling
Yeah.
each other's legs. But I'm not raised to just open the water and the tap and find water. This is
Mm-hmm,
this is nonsense to me. This is trauma.
mm-hmm. It's trauma. How so?
Because it's easy.
So the ease reminds you of of the difficulties of Gaza and the fact that that was so not normal.
Yeah, like you like when I look back at my year in Ireland,
Mm-hmm,
uh, it feels like 10 years,
mm-hmm.
to me as someone from Gaza, because I
Yeah.
did like I completed my masters, I did internship, I published maybe I don't know how many articles. I made
I'll link them
friendships.
all in the show notes.
Thank you. I have no idea like how many people I made new friendships with, and like I started from scratch somewhere else, and I'm going through the process.
Mhm,
Like I'm experiencing that right now, and I'm doing
mhm.
better. I think I did lots of things in my year, and if I want to do them in Gaza, this need like 10 years, not one
Yeah,
year. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
imagine like if in Gaza I need to write an article or something. I have. Oh my gosh, I don't want to go back there. Just do it. Like I would walk
Mhm,
up and try to borrow a cable and go to a cafe, which is a tent, and trying
mhm.
to find a spot that's not sunny and try to wait when the owner of the tent says, okay, you can charge your laptop right now. And sometimes I wouldn't have access to internet and I have to wait. If my laptop is like has some troubles or something, like I would be mad. I'm paying like every single second is worth money in this place.
Mhm.
And by the end of the day, I was just coming up with writing like 200 words, and they need
Mhm.
editing. They are not final version. But here, I have electricity everywhere. Like I could, I
Mhm.
could.
Yeah, connect to an outlet anywhere. It's not a solar
Yeah, like
panel, it's not a tent, it's there.
that's why I would tell my family in Gaza, I lived and you still living in a lie, in a fake
Mm.
life. This is not the life.
You recently told me that the further you get from your time living in Gaza, the more you experience the like pain of what that was like to live in a genocide and survive a genocide because it becomes more clear how abnormal or inhumane it is the further away you are. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Um, like as time passes, like you like I understand myself better. Like like 1 week before coming to Ireland, I witnessed my uncle in front of my eyes. I was in the right side, he was in the left side of the street. I was shouting to him, and he was like along with 5, 6 people, and they all were targeted in front of my eyes. I didn't cry at that time. None of them was alive, all dead. So I didn't cry. And this is not the only massacre, I witnessed. I would be walking in the street and just like going to buy a cigarette or something, and just walking, the house before me would be targeted. It was my normal. But right now, as my time passes in Ireland, and it's not me who looking back at my history, but it's just my history coming back to catch me. So I start looking at it. Oh my gosh! Oh, suddenly I find myself crying. It feels like just started questioning every single minute of the genocide, because on the genocide, your nervous system was active the full day. Even when you sleep, you will act. It would be active. So you don't have time to feel, or you don't have time to question yourself. All the absolute question and in Gaza is just to survive day-to-day life, or not talking about the plans and this stuff. Because it's genocide. It's not aggression. It's not war. It's genocide.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot to carry with you. All that pain, that trauma, everything that you witnessed that is so not normal, and that you've survived, and you've survived for a reason to continue to tell these stories.
My family thinks they would survive actually when they get out of Gaza. But I tell them, you would survive. But when I get them out of Gaza, they would be crying all over the day. Like when I called my family, like last week, my sister passed high school exams, and she got the results. And I just called my family to extend my congratulations, and I heard like everyone was dancing and music going on in my tent for the first time since Noor went missing in May 2024. So I was like, I talked with my dad. My dad is the one who answered the phone. So then I was talking with him. Then suddenly, like I know my dad. He would just cover, like if I talk with him after a while, he would cover his eyes and he'd be crying. And this is not me, but it's like everyone is happy and we are all around. The scene is complete, but Noor is still missing.
Yeah.
So he would be crying. So if you drag those people, outside Gaza, they would still remember, everything we went through. And Noor is not the only person we missed in Gaza. It's like Miss Mahmoud, or more than 66 members of my extended family went missing, and close friends and relatives. And my uncle, who was killed in front of my eyes, I saw him like. So when I look at it right now, I cry. Not, but before I didn't have. My role was just to survive, maybe, but to rescue.
In a way, in Ireland, you have lost your feelings in some capacity, but you're also able to feel your feelings, and enough. Like it's you're in this liminal space between feelings and experiencing what you experienced before, and also being 1 foot in, 1 foot out now. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. You had the nail on the head. Yeah.
The question that I end every episode with is, what do you love about being a man? And so you can interpret this as, what do you love about being a man?
Responsibility.
What is it?
Responsibility. All my life is tied to responsibilities. I don't imagine my life without people around me I'm responsible for. I would find someone, and be responsible for. It shapes the meaning of my life when I'm responsible for my family or like other people. It's not just my family, like, and even like if I have friends here, I'm concerned about like, okay, I'm like, let's say for my friends here, like I'm trying to find accommodation for, and later today I'm having a meeting to sort out like some accommodation for my friends. But I mean, like if I don't do this kind of job, what's the value of my life then? What's the meaning of my life?
Yeah.
So I could just see myself through helping, others, maybe, or being responsible for others. Not anybody here, absolutely, but those people make close
not a
and
dog.
environment.
Not
A dog, I like dog was, but I just maybe when I have the luxury, of being responsible for a dog. Not now.
Not now, not. but being responsible for people. And I think that's beautiful. And I think that's what, like, when I think about a vision of a healthy society in the future that is free from the ills of war and genocide and famine and everything else and militarism, and think about what a healthy society looks like, it's where we feel that we are responsible for the safety, the joy, the peace of one another, and I think it's a beautiful way that men show up in our societies where they can feel responsible to, provide that kind of care and support to their friends and their loved ones in such a healthy way. And it gives a sense of purpose to life, the way you were saying too. And I
Yeah.
think so many people in our generation are feeling a hunger for a sense of purpose in our lives. And I think once you feel responsible for the care of your parents, of your siblings, etc., you feel like there's, oh wow, I'm on this earth for a reason, and it's to care for one another.
What makes difference right now, nowadays in my life? So when I water this garden, like on the right side of my hand, like whenever like I'm stuck, I have not, I'm now hosted by a friend, like up to August 2nd. Okay. Whenever like I'm bored, I go and water the garden. As I'm watering the garden, like every day I see how they grow up, and this gives me a purpose to keep going. Imagine like if I don't do that. I mean, like we are men, like we like to take care of others, but I don't know.
I know, but it's beautiful to watch. See, I need to go water my garden because I don't have a good sense of responsibility for my garden, and I'm going to learn that from you.
We will see. Maybe you're away from
I
your
need you
house.
to come to DC to help me with this garden because
Hopefully one day.
we talked about this garden in our first episode and it still needs a lot of help today. So, but it's I think it speaks a lot to who you are in that sense of care and responsibility, not just for your family members, but for your neighbors, for this person in Ireland that you're house sitting their house for and helping with their garden and nature. And I think if we had more people like you with a sense of responsibility for people outside of themselves, because I think a lot of times, especially young men, feel a sense of responsibility, but for only for themselves, or only for their interests, and instead thinking about how do we have a sense of responsibility for one another. And I think that's what will help us.
Absolutely. Like you just reminded me to mention this story. Like I have got to meet someone. I'm not gonna speak about their background. Just let's say X. I met X. He's 4 years younger than me, and he was talking about doing plans in Europe, like buying apartment, And I was like, I didn't give him like yes or no or consultation, recommendation, whatever. I gave him nothing. I was okay, good for you. But this guy is talking about buying an apartment. If I want to be selfish, I would be rich right now, But I chose not to be selfish and not to be rich, because in a time of genocide, Lina, everything would be legitimized, like even the like you would receive money illegally, but if you tell the society it's legally, then you are fine, There is no authorities observing you. So, and this kind of person who just made lots of profits from the genocide, like what's the value of the money then? Like you're a bad guy.
And we're seeing that across all different societies where people are choosing profits over people, or profit or money over relationships, and you sell yourself for that money instead of building community. And as more and more crises happen, we realize that the greatest wealth we can have is our relationships with people. Money will come and go.
Absolutely. Like what you would do, like if you were stuck alone, Like in a time of genocide, when you start evacuating, and you choose to whom with you are evacuating, Let's say like we chose like with my cousin and his family and our family, so we just joined each other's and we started evacuating. But if I have lots of profits, who is going to protect me? Or let's say if everyone is fed up with me in my society and they don't respect me, what if like I go back right now from Iran to Gaza, and the people in Gaza, they don't respect me? They don't respect my family. They don't respect my children. they saw how much bad I was in Ireland and, doing money illegally and this stuff. If I go back, who would respect me? Who would hug me,
Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah.
means this is to me like a lot valuable. Like this is life, this is what defines me as a person.
Mm. And I think it's a lesson for anyone, no matter what situations they're in, no matter if they are from Gaza or not, like that the relationships and respect you have in your community is the most important thing. And that is what will get you through the most challenging of times. I remember one time I was being annoying in Ireland and you were like, you would not last in my tent. And I was like, oh
I
shit.
remember
Like,
that.
yeah. And that like rang in with me where I was like, wow, being a good person and a kind person is a survival tactic, too, because you all of a sudden will create a bigger community that will look out for you, that will evacuate with you, that will support you in your time of need. Abdallah, I am so grateful for your wisdom, for your light, for your example of being a man that is really, responsible for others, but also for yourself and for your community, and just a huge role model for so many people. So thank you for coming on the Masking
It's
Tapes
always my pleasure.
and
Thank you.
for
Thank you
bringing
for
your
hosting me.
light.
Thank you, Lena.
Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the Masking Tapes and for following along on this journey that we've had. I'm just so grateful for the outpouring of support from listeners all around the world. These are the conversations that continue to light a fire in me, and I hope it lights a fire in you to keep them going. May we continue to stay curious, to stay compassionate, loving, and make sure to follow along on social media at maskingtapes.pod and wherever you get your podcasts. Until then, I'm Carolina Hidalgo-McCabe, and this has been The Masking Tapes.